Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are going to do a shop tour. This has been a requested video for a while and now we are finally doing it. So I'm gonna show you around in the woodshop. But first, if you haven't downloaded my free ebook, The Beginner Woodworker's Guide, you can grab that down below in the description box, or I'll also pin it in the top comment. So now let us take a look in the shop. So first of all, we have the dust collector. I have this outside the shop simply because there wasn't a place for it inside, and also it's less noisy out here. So this is a jet vortex cone and it works pretty good, but I think it's probably a bit too small for the shop, or I think it's a bit too much pipe because it is not as powerful as I would have liked it to be. But it works just fine. I have a remote control to turn it off. I thought I would be able to turn it on as well, but I am not, so I'll have to go outside here and turn it on every time, but it's okay. So let's go inside and have a look at the rest of the shop. So the wood shop is basically two parts. Now we are in the old part. There used to be a wall here, and this is the newer part. This is pretty much the what I would call the woodworking part of the shop, and then this is a bit more messy. So this is like a mix of a shop and a garage pretty much. So all the tools we use at the farm we have in this part. So we have some chainsaw stuff in here and some metalworking stuff, welding machine, things like that as well. There are some woodworking stuff in here. This is some old carving knives that I got from my great grandpa. He used to do wood carving. He started working on this clock and a couple other wall clocks as well that he didn't finish, unfortunately, before he died. So I got to get his tools and also these clocks that maybe someday I will finish up, but we'll see. And then we have some old hand planes as well over here that I don't really use a whole lot. Some scrap wood, just some random stuff, gloves and things like that. And then over here we have my lathe, my woodworking lathe, and this is one that I got from my grandpa, not my great grandpa, but my grandpa. He is a woodworker as well, but he didn't use this lathe, so I got it from him. Quite a lot of the tools that I have, I actually got from my grandpa. So this one, the brand is called Pilot. I haven't really heard of it before. I tried to find it online as well. I don't think they sell it anymore. So I'm not sure really what kind of brand it is, but it works just fine for me. It's pretty long, so I can use it to make like coffee table legs, which is pretty much all I use it for. But it's a fun tool and a fun machine. Over here we have some random like screws and hardware, drill bits, different stuff. A lot of random stuff here as well. A lot of screws, some metal tools and chainsaw tools. Just a lot of random stuff here. Underneath this bench we have some machines, just grinders and some sanders, jigsaws. Also have some old wood boards and planks under here that are drying, and screwdrivers and things like that over here on this wall. That is pretty much it for the old part. Now we're moving on to the woodworking part of the shop. So this is the newer part, the prettier part. This is kind of the area of the shop that I use the most in my videos, and it's because there's better lighting in here, but also because this is where most of the woodworking tools and machines are. So here we have some Japanese hand saws. I really like Japanese hand saws, and I made this handsaw rack probably a couple of years ago. I have a video of it on my channel. By the way, I will link all of the, or most of the tools that I have in the description. Also the videos of the different parts and tables and things like that, racks as well, down in the description. There are going to be links in the description box. And then we have the miter saw station, the ultimate miter saw station that I made. This was one of my first videos on the channel, and it has done actually very well. I think it's one of the most viewed videos on my channel. It's a 3-part video. So I really like this miter saw station. It works very well. There's a lot of storage here, and I use it to store paint and glue and all of that stuff, staining as well. In these drawers there are some hand tools, just some rulers and marking gauges, sandpapers, things like that. Also, this is my charging station where I charge all of the batteries. The miter saw itself is a Bosch something PSM8SD, PCM8SD. It is one of the cheaper models from Bosch, so it works fairly decent. I think it's like 200-300 bucks. So it works just fine for me. Eventually I'm probably gonna buy something bigger, but for now it works just fine. Of course I have dust collection, works pretty decent as well. I don't have a hose. I wish I had a hose on the miter saw itself, but it collects all of the dust pretty well inside of here. Have some different stickers as well. Matt Cremona, Bob Claggett, Woodworking with Kim, and my own sticker. This was the name of the channel when it started, Baloni Snackery. And snackery is a Norwegian word. Basically just means wood shop. And over here we have my sander that I got from my grandpa as well. Again, works just fine. It is a bit small, so hopefully soon I will buy something bigger, probably like a belt sander. Has some drill bit storage here as well. And then we have the drill press. It's a Shabak DP16SL. It's a fairly cheap model, 200 bucks, but it does the job. Then over here we are moving on to my clamps, the clamp racks. This is the first one that I made. This is the second one. I made a video of this with, of course it has dovetails and wedged through mortise and tenons. So it's a bit over the top for a clamp rack, but it was a fun build. We also have my unreasonably large mallet. Another fun build. I don't really use it a whole lot, but it's a cool thing to have, I guess. Now in the middle of the room there is this big miter saw table that is very, very handy, very useful to have, at least when we are cutting like big plywood boards on the miter saw. It's very handy to have a big table like this. It has a bit of storage underneath as well. I do not have any drawings or plans for this table saw. I don't have any videos either, because it was just like a random build that I just decided to do one day. It didn't really take me that long. It's pretty basic. It's just one board of plywood at the bottom and a double or 2 boards of plywood at the top and some shelves underneath. So fairly easy build, but it's a really, really nice thing to have in the shop. And then we have some storage for boards. I think I did a video of this as well, a lumber rack. And I don't really know what to say about it. It does the job, and it gets some of the boards out of the way But as you can see over here, I don't get all of the boards out of the way. So there is some stuff sitting on the floor. Over here as well. I have something outside. I have something up in the second floor. So I'm hoping one day I'm gonna have a bigger space where I can store more lumber and also dry some of the lumber that I have started cutting myself. So over here we have the router table hooked up to the dust collector. Once again, it does the job, works just fine. Nothing crazy, but I have a fence here that you can adjust. You can also adjust the height of the router itself. I don't have it hooked up to like a switch or something. I just use the switch on this transformer because I needed to have a transformer because I bought this router from United States and I thought that would just work fine. But apparently there are some differences in the voltage and things like that, so I needed a transformer as well. But it works as a switch. We have a drawer under here just for some router table stuff, some tools, and also storage for the router bits on the side here. And then we are moving on to the woodworking workbench. Probably the build that has taken me the longest time of all the things that I've done inside of the shop, at least. Very, very fun build to build your own workbench. It is a bit small, no, for being a workbench, but I couldn't really have it any bigger inside of here. And so just it does the job very well with the vise. I like the vise. And I use this workbench for pretty much all of the projects that I do. A bit of storage underneath. Again, I have a video for this build as well. It is fairly thick top, but I wanted it to have it as sturdy as possible. And you know, because it is so small or so short, I wanted it to be very thick so that it wouldn't move if I planed something or chiseled some boards. So it is very sturdy and very nice. Moving on to the planer and jointer. This is on wheels, so I can just pull it out when I need it. Again, I got this from my grandpa. It's called Rex B30, and I've had some questions about it, you know, where I bought it and things like that. And I have looked around on the internet to see if I can find it, but I cannot find it. I don't think they produce it anymore, so can't really help you there. But this tool of this machine has really been a game changer for me, obviously because it allows you to have like dead, straight and accurate boards, which really makes a difference, at least when you're doing more detailed stuff. So I like this one, and it's also not connected to a dust collector. No, there's supposed to be like a hood here on top, but there's not, and again, they don't produce this anymore, so I haven't been able to find a hood that fits for this planer. And the final tool or machine is this bandsaw, Record Power BS350S. It's pretty decent, more than big enough for what I'm doing in the shop. So I have a few different bandsaw blades as well, so I can switch it up. For me, this is plenty powerful. It has enough power for me, for what I'm doing, and it does the job for me. And I think we forgot to talk about the table saw. This is a DeWalt, and it's called DeWalt DW745. Fairly decent table saw. Nothing crazy, but once again, works just fine for me, like pretty much everything else in the shop. So I guess that was it. Yeah, I think that's it. Nothing crazy going on here. It's a fairly, you know, basic shop. No crazy like automations or technology or anything like that. But it works for me. It's perfect, and I really enjoy spending time here. And let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have any questions, feel free to leave that as well. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button. Again, if you want the free ebook, The Beginner Woodworker's Guide, you can grab that down below. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.